Hello, and thank you for staying with us. It's always a pleasure to be with you on this show. Your feedback, we do appreciate. Thank you. Today, we're looking at something that many of us would consider a recurrent decimal in Nigeria from 30 years ago. I mean, there are videos on social media showcasing how Nigerians queue up for the products, fuel products across different petrol stations. But the most remarkable, 2012, when the then President Goodluck Jonathan announced the removal of fuel subsidy, there was chaos across the country, protests from the north to the south, from the east to the west. Eventually, the administration of President Goodluck Jonathan reversed that decision. Fast forward to 2023, when President Bola Tinubu took his oath of office. Yes, one of the first things he said in his statement was, fuel subsidy is gone. The effect of that declaration is still being felt till today. And recently, across the country, there were queues returned to the fuel stations, all because that product, PMS, Premium Motor Spirit, was not available. Why is that so? The NNPCL, that's the sole importer of the product. Some say they had logistics issues, and he came out to say that that had been resolved, yet the queues persist. Then the matter of the refineries is also there, and some argue that the refineries, even if they are all working optimally, might not be able to meet the needs of the people. Is that the way to go? Our guest on Newsnight tells us that the problem persists because of a supply problem. According to him, improving or increasing Nigeria's refining capacity will make the difference. Is that really the case? He talks about the emergence of a privately owned refinery that could change the dynamics of things. But would that make a difference indeed? Newsnight sat down for a conversation with the Deputy National President of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association, IPMAN, Mr. Zarman Mustafa. Alhaji Zarma Mustafa, thank you for speaking with us on Newsnight.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
It's fortunate. I don't like the word unfortunate. It's fortunate that we're talking at a time like this when many in the country are wondering what's going on in the petroleum industry. One thought that when subsidy was removed, everything would just go beautifully well. People like you, independent marketers, and the independent players in the sector would now have free space to run, and there will be no scarcity whatsoever. What's going on?
Well, although you said you don't want to use the word unfortunate, but I would rather use it here. It's unfortunate that we found ourselves in another scarcity this time around. Scarcity of petroleum product, especially PMS. What it's all about is, the fact of the matter is, it's all being brought about by drop in supply. The supply of the product within the last 3 weeks to 1 month has really dwindled, and the supply has not been consistent. That's why we got this little sign of scarcity across some parts of the country.
Okay, so we know that at a certain time, IPMAN, for instance, was established at a time when things were really tight in the area of supply, so that the supply side of the petroleum products can be eased out. What happened to that reason behind the setting up of IPMAN?
Well, to be candid, what brought about IPMAN in the late 70s is the same scarcity that has been happening between mid-70s up to late 70s and the rest, which made the federal government to build more refineries, one in Kaduna and the new Port Harcourt refinery. And about 21 depots were built across the nation around late 70s, all in an effort to see that the supply chain is being revamped and supply of petroleum product is not going to be it's not going to be a problem anymore. But unfortunately, those efforts have been made. A lot of success has been achieved. Independent marketers were brought in to also participate and play in the industry in the early 80s. And up till today, we are playing our role. But along the way, you know, the administrators and the planners of the industry did not sit down and continuously foresee things and prepare in advance. Because the population growth, the economic growth, and all growth that has happened from the late 70s to date, there has not been any increase in terms of refining capacity and in terms of other logistics. Only us as independent marketers and other major marketers have been investing in developing more retail outlets across the country, in the hinterland and the rest. But as for government, they have not been able to live up to their responsibilities of providing the needed machineries that will continuously increase the refining capacity of petroleum product to meet the growth of the population and the growth of the economy of the country.
Okay, so
that's why we came into this situation.
So it's really instructive to hear you say that there's not been any increase in the refining capacity of the country as it should be based on the increasing population and all. But you also said that the independent marketers and other major marketers have been investing in building retail outlets. How would you be retailing what is not there?
Well, let me come in here. The little that is available, you know, the policies of government determines how an investor can come in to participate, to also contribute his own part of development of the economy. If the policies of government is not encouraging, there is no investor that will come in to build a refinery that will not earn him returns. There is none. There are inconsistencies in government policies in terms of petroleum product pricing within the last 30 years, which made all foreign or local investors, made it very difficult for them to go in, explore, and invest in such a way that they can be able to increase the refining capacity for the general needs of the citizenry. So the reason why, let me come down to your question. Your question asks, why are we investing in retail outlets while the product is not available? The product is not that the product is not available. The product is available, but inconsistencies in the supply chain is what brings about on and off of the scarcity.
Availability
situation.
Of the product.
Yes, availability of the product across the country.
Okay, interesting again. Honestly, the Nigerian out there will be looking, okay, so if the government is not able to give me this, the independent marketers, for instance, the Nigerian state is not able to provide enough electricity for the citizenry. So what have they done? They've gone on to use generating sets and other things to provide themselves power. Those that are unable to get pipe-borne water, potable water, have gone on to dig boreholes. In this case, many a Nigerian would be happy to have heard that IPMAN and all the other independent marketers came into being, and major marketers from this late 70s came into being just to ease, to make sure we have petroleum products. So how has your organization, you and your members, how have you been surviving? Because by law, and you have said it in one of your interviews, that it's only the NNPC that can bring in petroleum products into the country. So what's the situation now? What's going on?
Well, we are surviving with the little available business opportunities that is there in the retailing. But it's not enough. It's not enough, and we cannot also involve ourselves in the importation, because just like you said, the policy now is only the NNPC imports refined petroleum product, that is PMS. Other products are being regulated completely, like AGO, ATK, kerosene, and the rest. you can be able to source for your dollar, get a refinery that will supply you, pay, or open an LC, make payment, load, and or bring it down to wherever you tell them along the coastal depots of the country. But as regards to PMS, because of the pricing nature, by name it is deregulated. But today you cannot be able to source PMS, import it to the country through the current dollar rate and make any gain. No profit. You are going to lose. So based on that, upon the declaration of President that PMS has been deregulated on the May 29th inaugural speech, a lot of people have collected licenses that they want to go and start importation. But unfortunately, when they started, the basic realities on ground will not warrant an individual to go in and import and make a profit. So based on that, as businessmen, most of the people that have licenses, 2 or 3 of them were able to import 3 or 4 shipments. But immediately after that, everybody just stopped and allowed NNPC continue with importation. And another thing that also affected the importation seriously is the dollar deregulation itself. You know, the main determinant factor of price of any imported commodity is the foreign exchange listing. As at the time foreign exchange was 750, the regulation took place. It was on that 750 per dollar that the government worked on the current price that we are selling. After working on it, we all agreed you can import and the rest. But unfortunately, when somewhere after 2 or 3, 5, after 3 months, the dollar started to rise. CBN couldn't control the value of the Naira. Naira continued to fall. So if you look at it, it is a kind of double strategy for the importation of petroleum product. As far as I'm talking to you now, I don't even understand how NNPC brings in the product and they are selling it at this price. There's a magic that NNPC is doing that. Only them can explain.
So we can call NNPC magicians.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so
of course, if you arrive at 620, while dollar was 750, dollar has risen to as high as 1,800, 1,500, although it is now down to as low as 1,200, 1,000 something. There is no way you can still bring that product and sell it at the same price that you were getting it while dollar was 750. So how NNPC does it, how do they recoup the differences and other things, is left for NNPC to find their way out.
We'll pursue NNPC and hope to get an answer. But, you know, again, some will say if you're chasing something and find out that running alone, it says that if you want to go far, if you want to go on the journey, go alone. But if you want to go far, go in a team.
Sure.
Now, if the independent marketers are seeing that it's a problem as individuals to bring in this product, NNPC can't handle it alone. But they were set up to ensure the availability of the products in the country. What's wrong with coming together to set up a refinery, for instance, that will make it even easier? I mean, some licenses were issued under the administration of President Goodluck Jonathan and President Yar'Adua, I think.
Let me tell you, as far back as 1999, during Abdusalam Abubakar's regime, we have a concept. We have gone into MOU with foreign expatriates, trying as much as possible to come together and establish a refinery in the country, all in an effort to unite and get a refinery that can help in boosting the supply of petroleum product, that can help the needs of our members in terms of their needs of wetting their retail outlets across the nation. We started it, but unfortunately, the policies on ground did not allow us to succeed. That was in 1999, even before advent of Obasanjo administration. And in fact, we had issues even within our association administratively. We have political issues and the rest that derailed that effort. That time, Bashir Irombaba was the president of the association, Alhaji Bashir Irombaba. He went into partnership. We have done a lot in terms of that. But unfortunately, for some obvious reasons, we couldn't. But we are not relenting. Even now, we have such programs within our administrative focus that we will establish more refineries in conjunction with foreign partners, technical and financial partners. We employ experts that will also see how best they can be able to make a prospectus that will be well articulated and call on our members to also invest and invest as shares in that refinery so that we can be able to develop it. Because our strength is not small.
There are those who argue that is it not the monies that were taken off the subsidy for products that were not supplied that you now be investing and want Nigerians to pay you back? Is that the situation here?
No, not really. I don't think we were not part of importation. We have not been doing.
You have never been part of importation?
We have never been part of importation. IPMAN as an association cannot do business. We just have to register a limited liability company that which is going to be a vehicle that we can be able to use to achieve whatever financial business transaction we want to do. As an association, we don't directly go into such business.
So some of your
only
members
formulate policies, we pursue our members' interests, we advise, we guide, and we do whatever thing possible that will make the business more lucrative for our members.
Are you saying categorically that none of your members benefited from the subsidy regime?
There might be some of our members, but they did that on their individual capacities as their company. And I don't think there are more than 3 or 4.
And so if now the subsidy is removed because of some people who were paid monies for products, but were not able to deliver or were not willing to deliver.
But the subsidy you're talking about has stopped as far back as 2014, 2015.
Really?
Yeah. From 2014, 2015, NNPC has taken the responsibility of importation themselves through the concept they brought in direct sales, direct purchase. They swap crude for refined petroleum product. That was how they maintained the importation for the last 8 years of Buhari administration.
Okay, so
it was when the volume of the importation became so high that they could not cover the differences through direct sales, direct purchase, that they came in and started seeing other avenues of bringing subsidizing the product, which made it very necessary and very obvious to everybody that the subsidy itself is no more sustainable to the country.
You know, Alhaji Mustafa, you will walk us through the subsidy thing and the pricing thing in a moment, but when you say the subsidy has been removed since 2014, 2015, so which subsidy did the president declare is gone and gone forever?
Well, there's a name they call it during the... although it's just a nomenclature they decide to change. But whatever it is whether you call it anti-recovery, you call it subsidy, there's one other this term they use for it. Whatever you call it is all paying for the shortfall of whatever that NNPC has incurred in the process of procuring the product. So for them, whatever term they use and the rest, I don't know, for whatever reason they are changing the terms and the rest, subsidy is all subsidy. I cannot say it's not subsidy. To me, my understanding as a marketer, as a layman, as a citizen, I would still call it a subsidy.
So all the IPMAN's interested in is making money, right?
Bridging?
Making money.
Well, no. Primary responsibility of every citizen. Either you're a businessman, a civil servant, a freshman, whatever you are as a citizen, first and foremost, you have an obligation to serve the country with all heart that will bring about development, progress, peace, and whatever positive things that will make Nigeria great.
Yeah.
So profit is not our primary decision.
Okay.
But profit has to be there for us to be in business, because there is no way you can inject in a lot of resources, build stations, buy trucks, employ staffs, purchase product with all the risks attached, transporting it to all nick and crannies of the country. Go and sell the product, first and foremost, to meet the demands of the citizenry. Petroleum product needs of the citizenry for their movement across the country, across the state, across the local government. There and then in the process, we will also earn something that will make us pay our staffs and make returns on investment.
Okay, so let's look at this matter of, again, costing here. Right now, we're paying between 600 and 1,000 naira, depending on where you are, per liter of PMS. What does it cost for you, the independent marketer, to buy this product? Is that dependent on how much it costs the NNPC to bring it in, NNPCL?
Well, as of today, we don't have the product that we usually buy from NNPC retail. We get the product with NNPC retail, as I earlier said, at less than 600 naira. If you get such products, you can be able to transport it and sell it at less than 700 naira, depending on which location you are. If you are here in Abuja, if you get it at 560 naira, maybe you put in the cost element of transportation to Abuja here, it will be around 50 naira per liter. But if you could not get the NNPC, which is rare, we only get from the private depots. While they are selling it to us at 560 naira, private depots, the least we get the product is around 630, 650. As at today, is above 700 per liter. So if you buy it at 700 naira in Lagos today, and you are transporting it to maybe Maiduguri, Maiduguri is 80 naira today. 80 naira plus 700 naira will be around 780 naira. There are other cost elements like 5 naira, maybe 785 naira. If it lands there at 785 naira, you need to get return. You cannot sell it at that rate. The station you're operating, you're using diesel to sell. You have your staffs, you have other tax and other government these things that you're paying. So you need to add up like 30, 40, 50 naira to also get as returns for you to successfully discharge and dispense to the consumers.
You were talking about this pricing matter, government ensuring that the marketers are able to get the product at the price that they can afford to sell to the Nigerians out there. I don't like to use the word common. To able to sell to the Nigerians out there at a good rate that they can afford. But you also know that, basic economics tells us scarcity determines price, or availability determines price. It is believed that the price of crude oil in the international market directly affects the cost of importing refined petroleum products. But even the situation in Nigeria appears to be defying this logic, because even when there's a glut, which means there's plenty of products out there, our own pricing doesn't seem to work that way. So what would you think is the problem? Why is it that the system in Nigeria defies that logic?
Maybe you must have forgotten. Let me remind you, when in 2020, NNPC announced that they are partially deregulated, they even brought down the price. They did their cost analysis and everything with the crude, cost of crude, cost of shipment and all other things. They even brought down the price and they were maintaining the price. Every month they are announcing new price. So I disagree with you by saying Nigeria's this does not work in tandem with the fluctuations of the international price of crude. During the COVID, you know very well, crude has gone down to as low as less than $30 per barrel, which gave room for federal government to even reduce petroleum product price, PMS price, to as low as 120 something. And then dollar was around 360 or so. So somehow along the way, as they were doing the control and pricing and the rest, they couldn't deregulate completely. They have been taking the responsibility of the differences up to the end of the tenure of Baba Buhari. That was why almost everybody, when he sees the bill of the subsidy within the last 3 years of Buhari's administration, is crazy, and everybody knows it's not sustainable. And the new administration came in and made the declaration with all, took the bull by the horn and make the declaration that subsidy is removed. But unfortunately, up till now, we have not been able to get the needed results in terms of doing away with scarcity of petroleum product. But it will go. It will go with the upcoming of new refineries.
Okay.
The revamped Port Harcourt refinery, Dangote refinery, Warri refinery is coming off too. We have some modular refineries, 3 or 4 that are producing in the Niger Delta area. They are also boosting the supply, which really positively affects the supply chain in a positive way.
You know,
Kaduna is coming off.
I mean,
so with all this, if we have enough refining capacity, we can sustain the availability to any level we want to take it to. And there should be a system in place that will be working and preparing for the future. We shouldn't allow what has happened within the last 20 years in terms of supply of petroleum product to repeat itself. Because it's all about inconsistency of government policies. Non-engagement of government in planning in terms of our future needs and preparation that has been giving us all this epileptic supply of petroleum product here and there.
Nigerians need PMS. What should they do?
The best solution to going out of this predicament is more refining capacity, more refining capacity, more refining capacity. We need to build more refineries.
More refining capacity. Hold on. More refining capacity that has been a challenge since the 70s. And you say it's still the problem.
Yeah.
Is nobody listening?
Well, with the coming in of PIA, with the coming in of passing of the Petroleum Industry Act, there are a lot of things that will attract investors to come in. Dangote Refinery is going to be a kind of litmus test for other interested investors in doing refinery. We'll look and see how it's going to conduct itself, how government is going to regulate it, how will government interfere, how are they going to produce and sell, what are the policies, although it is in a pre-trade zone. It's just like if you're buying product there, it's just like you are importing. So that Dangote refinery is going to be a kind of litmus test to other investors that have the intention to come and build bigger refineries. At least minimum of 100,000 capacity, 100,000 barrels per day capacity, or maybe 50,000. If the what do you call it, the drilling of petroleum crude oil maybe in the northeast that is going on, if it happens to be successful, I believe there are other things, because when it is being drilled, there is no pipeline that can take the crude to the coastal depots that can be exported and the rest. All those things will ginger investors to come in and start establishing refineries, even if it is 30,000, 50,000. I believe all those things will bring about investors' interest to come and inject their money, build more refineries, complement what the government refineries are doing. With that, I believe we will go out of this perennial petroleum scarcity once and for all.
So, but as of today, there's no solution.
As of today, there is no solution. But I believe Dangote Refinery will start giving out PMS somewhere in early June. That's their promise. But until we see it, if they can at least have even half of their production capacity, that's 650,000 barrels is not realizable now. No, refinery is a process that you will start refining as takes time. You increase the volume of your refining capacity. So it starts maybe with a lower capacity now, as the FCC is speaking, and it will increase in the volume of all the other products, byproducts from crude oil. So if the refinery starts giving out 300,000 barrels, will give us a lot per day. Because as of today, our daily needs requirements of what we need, I don't think is up to 35 million liters in a day of PMS, of which I believe Dangote Refinery can do that. So when it starts, it will bring a lot of cushion effect.
So I'll take you back to the question I asked earlier about the role of the independent marketers and why we are where we are. Because there are some who argue that the independent marketers, the major oil marketers, all the people who, aside from the government agencies, they're the problem. Because the monies that were paid to them to bring in some of these products have not been brought in. Some have collected the monies, squandered it. Some have cases they have not finished answering to in the court. What do you think about that?
Well, I disagree with you. And there is no basis, there is no place where government will give somebody money to do a duty or a responsibility or a tax, and he does not deliver. And government will sit down and look at it. That means it's not the marketer that is the problem. It's the government itself. If government decides to just sit down and look at it, because they have entered a contract, the contract is there. Anywhere they have gone, they have found wanting in the contract. Government, as a party to that contract, has every responsibility to make sure the other party does conduct himself, does the needful in terms of their contractual agreement between them.
But government says that's why the subsidy regime didn't work, because the independent marketers and all of that, and your other organizations, were not fulfilling their own side of the bargain.
They were the ones that have been importing for almost 4 years during Jonathan administration. NNPC has not been importing. The regulator, they allowed the players to import, and after they import, whatever price volume they bring, the documentation is going to be done, and whatever the difference that is supposed to be given to the marketer that has imported it, The details will be worked out by the government agency to reimburse the marketer that brought in that volume. There might be some cases here and there, just like you said, they are in the court of law. And I believe the court will adjudicate and do the needful if anybody is found wanting. Yes.
So if you had a word for Nigerians, I mentioned earlier about the illegal refineries in the Niger Delta. Some will say, legalize them. Because they are doing something that you're not able to do. Again, that will help to increase the refining capacity in the country. And some argue that some of the companies down in that region are actually buying their products. So why burn them? Why destroy them? What do you think? Would that help to make a difference? Would that help to, in some way, solve this problem of refining capacity, moving towards setting up other bigger refineries?
But can I ask you a question? Those refineries, how do they get their crude?
Question.
Give me an answer before
How would I give you an answer?
How do they get it? They are not getting the crude illegally. They are stealing. How can you legalize illegality? It doesn't occur.
So how do
no sensible administration will look into any advice of such nature.
How do they know where those pipelines are?
Well,
if there's no collusion from within.
There must be. It's a syndicate. It's a syndicate. They cannot be doing all those things without conniving with those that are put there, that are been given the responsibility of securing that place. There are government agencies that are given responsibility of doing the needful there. You cannot, for any reason. You see, this country, we have a lot of things that we need to look into and change ourselves. We all have a duty to be nationalistic, do things the right way. Just you think government is not doing the right thing and you continue doing the wrong thing, it won't bring any solution. We are in a democratic dispensation. If you have any grievances with government, organize yourself, get capable people, appoint them to contest, support them to be where they are supposed to be to lead the nation. But we are not doing things that way. The common man, the rich man, the civil servant, the security man, almost everybody is not doing what he's supposed to do in the process of building a nation. We have to be selfless. We have to think Nigeria first before any other sentiment or interest. With that, I believe Nigeria is going to be great. We have the potentials, we have the people, we have the mineral resources. What we are lacking is the administration and this attitude of the society in general. The problem of this country is not just the administration or the leadership. It is all encompassing. So I don't think that illegal refineries will help in any way if you decide to legalize it. You are legalizing an illegality. Illegality will continue to thrive, and you will never find peace. You'll never find the progress that is needed. You'll never get the needed petroleum product, refined petroleum product that is supposed to help in terms of needs of our citizenry. All we need is, we need to form legal refineries that will buy the product at whatever international prevailing price, refine it, add up their refining costs, put in their margin, and sell the product to retailers.
Okay, finally, just before we go, your organization was quoted as saying, I'm not sure exactly who, saying that this whole matter will only be cleared in the next 2 weeks?
We have an extensive meeting as regards to how best we can synergize to bring solution to this supply gap. We have agreed on a lot of positions, and there are enough products in the on the coastal water that smaller 20,000, 15,000 metric tons ships have gone to bring down to the coastal depots, and we have enough trucks in all parts of the country that we can evacuate whatever volume that is available for off-road transmission to our retail outlets. Because the product is there, it's the logistics of bringing it down to retail outlets that is remaining.
What we're talking about is avoiding a recurrence.
Avoiding a recurrent, I'm not in a position to tell you how best we can suggest, because the only source that I have been emphasizing, telling you since the start of this interview, is NNPC.
So if you had an opportunity to speak to one person or the whole nation,
provided we still don't have the refining capacity. But if we have the refining capacity, everybody will be contributing his own quota in terms of supply. The government refineries will be doing, the private refineries will also be producing. The small modular refineries will also be producing whatever they produce. You spoke about some of the refineries in Niger and Chad. Those refineries are not refineries because the production capacity of the refinery in Agadez in Niger is just 20,000 barrels per day. They cannot produce anything much. And the quality of their crude is different from our own. The output of products you can get from Nigeria's crude, you cannot get it their own. So whatever they are producing, I don't think is even enough for them to use it for their local economy, not to talk of importing it, especially PMS. There are times that we used to buy diesel from them, but their diesel is lighter, it burns faster. If you can use Nigerian diesel to maybe 100 liters to cover 300 kilometers, their own 100 liters will cover maybe 250 kilometers, it will finish. It has some negative economic implications. The same thing with the Chadian refinery. Chadian refinery too is just 20,000 barrels per day, which is too small. They will not even refine enough to for their local domestic needs, not to talk of even exporting PMS. So I don't think we have any neighboring country that can give us anything apart from the ones that are being imported from Europe and from Asian countries.
So Nigeria has the product, has the human capacity, but no political will or financial will to do the needful?
Well, you're right. And the administrative will, the sincerity in terms of administrative decisions matters. So that has to be also factored in.
So if you had to give an advice, what would that be? One advice to Nigerians and the government in like 30 seconds to 1 minute.
Well, I would like to give an advice to the federal government, especially the president.
And the states?
The president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He should organize the independent marketers and the major marketers to build a befitting at least 200,000 capacity refinery. 2. It's possible. All we need from the government is support, assurances, financial, financial support in terms of getting the finances in international.
So guarantees.
Yes, international financial guarantee in terms of getting it. And locally we can be able to also see how best we can raise enough fund that we can invest as shareholders to do both of such things. The issue of the refinery should not be left to an individual or government. It has serious implication, even security implication, when you leave it to few individuals to be doing it. Let there be competition. And that competition can come about when you involve the real major players to also invest in refining, just like they have invested in trucking, retailing, logistics, and other things in the downstream. Let them bring in a policy that will make such things happen. I believe it's possible. I believe it's possible. And to the governors and other administrators across the country, there is nothing wrong in the 36 state governors coming together, engaging a technical partner who has the know-how of a refinery to come, partner with them, invest and build 1 or 2 refineries. They can do it. They have the money. They will do it as an investment, not as a government thing of doing things to the citizenry free. No, they should come together to garner enough funds, even if it is 30% of the cost to build. Assuming to build a 200,000 barrels capacity refinery will cost like $5 billion today. Just a rough estimate. $5 billion will build a 200,000 barrels capacity for you as at today. If they can raise $1 billion together, I believe they can get the financiers and the partners that will key in, because we have the market, we have the population, we have the market in this country. And don't forget, Nigeria is the major driver of the economy of the whole of West Africa. If we can produce enough and we cannot consume it, the market of the whole of West Africa is in our hands. So the prospects are there. Is someone to kickstart such ideas that will come to limelight and be beneficial, what do you call it?
Benefit to the people.
Be a benefit to citizenry and the whole of West Africa and Africa as a whole.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
How time flies when you're having fun. Thank you for letting us be a part of your day. Do come back to us with your feedback. Our handles are right there on your screen. Also, you can catch up with this conversation and other conversations we've had via our website, channelstv.com/podcast or youtube.com/channelsweb. You see our playlist and watch all the episodes, the old ones, right there. Till we come your way again, it's goodbye.